Political Talk with people who are standing up to the political machine and standing up with you. Everybody's talking at me.
CRN Digital Talk Radio, the original Talkback with Chuck Wilder, Paul Stern, standing by the toll-free number 1-800-336-2225. Live across America on this, your favorite radio station or cable system, and of course around the world at www.crntalk.com. Program note tomorrow, Kerry Pickett, Washington Times. Guess what? L.A. City Councilman Ed Reyes, well, he was caught on tape. She interviewed him, and he refused to answer the simple question, quote, should illegals be deported? Oh, and by the way, the California Penal Code pertaining to immigration just happens to be almost like Arizona's SB 1070. But here, Councilman Ed Reyes, who wants to boycott Arizona, would not answer the question, should illegals be deported? Bob Unruh, news editor for WorldNet Daily, utterly ridiculous. The feds are telling the court that they can decide what you eat. And to wrap things up tomorrow, Jim Corey, Vice President, National Association Chiefs of Police, going to look at the Taliban apprehended some terrorists. Border Patrol agents are blasting the Obama administration, and some news on cruise ship security, all that and much more. Right now, I want to go to Stephen Camarota. He is Director of Research at the Center for Immigration Studies. Stephen, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me back. I'm doing well.
Boy, I got to tell you, if the listener goes to CIS.org, you guys have some of the greatest writers, and I'm not, just blowing smoke here. So many good stories, and, if I didn't get so carried away with immigration, I'd probably have a 24/7 just covering the stories that you guys do. So my congratulations to some great writers. And you, sir, have come out with this new report, Immigration versus Teen Employment. And the listener may think automatically, well, I know what this is going to be all about and how it's going to end up. Not necessarily. Some very interesting stuff's here. And, Stephen, you say that the summer of 2010 may be the worst summer ever for employment of U.S.-born teenagers, and that would be 16 to 19 years of age.
Yes, that's right. I think that it's certainly shaping up that way. We're down to, in last summer, only 1/3 of them actually held a job. Used to be a majority did, and who knows, maybe this summer will only be 1/4. The share who are in the labor force, that is, holding a job or looking for a job, that's the labor force, is way down, and the share who are actually working is way down as well. But what we found in the report, and this is the important point, there's been a huge decline in the last 2 decades in teenage work. It isn't something that just occurred in the recent recession. The recent recession obviously has intensified that, but it's really a 2-decade decline.
And another interesting thing here is that the research that you guys did is showing that those who do not hold jobs as teenagers often fail to develop the work habits necessary to function in the labor market.
Right. I mean, we have 3 basic findings. One is teens are working a whole lot less than they ever used to, dramatically so. The second is this matters because, as you said, there's research, and this isn't our research. This is a host of outside sociologists and so forth, economists looking at this question, and they find that teenagers who don't work do much worse later in life. They work less, they make less, because it seems they didn't develop the skills and habits necessary to function in the world of work when they were teenagers. It appears that there's a window of opportunity, if you will, where you kind of learn that you're not supposed to tell your boss he's an idiot, even if he really is, and you're not supposed to mouth off to customers, and you're supposed to show up on time and do as you're told. And if you don't learn those things when you're young, it becomes very hard to learn them, say, in your 20s.
Well, I tell you, and we're also going to get into internship a little bit later on. That's included in this story. So the summer of 2009, worst summer ever experienced by U.S.-born teenagers, and citizenship data was first collected in 1994, and the report says just 45% were in the labor force, which means they worked or were looking for work, and only 1/3 actually held a job. So this is 1/3 of those teenagers held a job.
Yeah, that's right. 1/3 of American teenagers. We're focused here on teenagers born in the United States. We have data going back to 1994. That's when they first started to ask this on a monthly basis. And what you see is this really huge decline in employment among less educated or people who are teenagers, I should say. They just work a whole lot less than they used to. And this really does matter, as I said, because it looks like it's instilling some bad work habits, especially for those kids who don't go on to college, who've already faced a tough time in the labor market. And so, again, there's been this decline in work. It seems to create social problems down the road. And then the third key finding is that competition with immigrants seems to explain a good deal of this decline, though it's not the whole story.
And between the summers of 1994 and 2000, you say there's a period of significant economic expansion, that U.S.-born teens actually declined 64% to 61%. You know, and I'm just wondering, like, what made it decline like that? I mean, could you put your finger on any one thing? Like, was there more illegal alien or more immigration or even more legal immigration, perhaps?
Right.
You know, job visas.
The workers who compete with teenagers who are immigrants, it's a roughly, very roughly speaking, a 50-50 split between legal and illegal. These are people working in food preparation, food service. They're working in child care, construction labor, building cleaning and maintenance, groundskeeping, these kinds of occupations. And those immigrants in those occupations are very roughly half illegal and half legal. So it's both. And yeah, the period 94 to 2000 is a period of enormous growth in the immigrant population in the United States. And of course, 2000 to 2007 is also a period of very substantial growth.